And we're kicking off today with SummerSlam, and this year's biggest party of the summer went off the air the same way the past 3 years have, with Roman Reigns standing tall over everybody else. Reigns retained his championship and status as Tribal Chief by besting his cousin Jey Uso in Tribal Combat, but the head of the table did not leave this match unscathed. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer revealed that Reigns suffered an injury early into the match, but it is not public knowledge at this time what the injury is or how serious it may be. What we do know is that Reigns is still expected to appear on this Friday's SmackDown as part of a Hail to the Chief segment, which may imply that this injury isn't one that'll keep him away from TV. If Reigns' injury is worse than this, then he'll have months to recover, as he's not being promoted for the next 2 Premium Live events, those being Payback next month and Fastlane on October 7th. In an update, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful added that WWE has remained tight-lipped about the situation, refusing to disclose when exactly the injury occurred during the Tribal Combat match. It was also stated that many in WWE's creative didn't even know Reigns was hurt until it was reported online, a sign of just how tight-lipped WWE are being about this situation. It was also disclosed that this injury is not expected to affect any creative plans for the Tribal Chief, as Reigns' limited schedule is proving to be quite useful right now as he deals with this injury. While not confirmed, it's believed that Reigns suffered the injury while he was outside of the ring early into the match and took a suicide dive from his cousin Jey that resulted in Reigns hitting the barricade. Hopefully we'll get more details about Reigns' injury, and though he may not wrestle for the next few months, it might not just be his lucrative contract that's keeping him out of the ring. Well, what do you think of this situation? Should WWE consider stripping Reigns of his championship like they do with other champions? Or is he a special case? Let us know your views in the comments. In April of this year, the blockbuster news was broken that Endeavor is set to acquire WWE for the hefty sum of $9.3 billion. This deal will see Vince McMahon remain on as chairman, but he'll no longer have the majority vote on key WWE decisions, and we now have a major update on the acquisition. In the 2023 second quarter earnings report, it was disclosed that the deal, which will see WWE and UFC be merged into TKO Group Holdings, is expected to be finalized between mid to late September. During a conference call to investors, Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel added that once the deal closes, there will be cost savings and synergies happening immediately, or in simpler terms, cuts. We don't know which roles will be cut or combined, but WWE CEO Nick Khan said earlier this year that they are looking to do at least $50 million in cuts, a similar amount to what UFC made when they were bought by Endeavor. It has been said in the past that on-screen personalities such as talent, in addition to those in creative, will be safe from these cuts, though many are skeptical of this claim by WWE's head office. What we do know is that McMahon will remain on as chairman, a role that Emanuel reportedly insisted Vince stay in, and that Triple H will remain WWE's chief content officer. The finalization comes at an interesting time, with McMahon recovering from spine surgery and dealing with a grand jury subpoena, but it's clear that nothing can stop the Endeavor deal going through. Over to AEW, and on tonight's show, Rob Van Dam will make his in-ring debut for the company when he challenges FTW champion Jack Perry. Fans of the former WWE and ECW World Champion are hoping that tonight's match will be the first of several for RVD and AEW, but what does the Extreme Veteran think of this? On his one-of-a-kind podcast, RVD was asked about his future with AEW, and coyly responded that, "We'll see how it goes." While RVD's deal with AEW originally said that he was there for one match, that being this week's Dynamite bout, it has been reported that AEW are eager to get him on the card for All In later this month. As previously reported, RVD's arrival in AEW was a closely guarded secret, with the legend put in a wheelchair and a black curtain to hide his identity, hardly a fitting arrival for the legendary star. Whether RVD sticks around for much longer, time will tell, but would you like to see more matches for Van Dam in AEW? Let us know in the comments. In 2019, WWE NXT and AEW Dynamite were engaged in the Wednesday Night Wars, which usually saw AEW's flagship show emerge victorious. This war only ended when NXT was moved to Tuesday nights, a move that AEW stars and management took great pleasure in gloating in, but now it's time for round 2. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer spoke about NXT's recent trend of impressive numbers, with the last 3 weeks of programming all drawing over 700,000 viewers. Meltzer explained that WWE officials have set a new goal for the NXT brand, and that is for the weekly NXT show to surpass AEW in the 18 to 34 demographic. NXT didn't beat Dynamite in this demographic last week, but the show got very close the prior week, and WWE officials are confident that this goal can be reached with the proper push. The Judgement Day are being seen backstage as huge reasons behind the uptake of viewers, hence why the group is featured so prominently on NXT TV, and we'll have to see if the Gold brand can indeed beat Dynamite in the coveted demographic. Speaking of the Judgement Day, Finn Balor sought to dethrone Seth Rollins, and possibly would have done so if not for the interference of Mr. Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. During SummerSlam and on Raw, it was clear that Balor and Priest are once again no longer on the same page, and what exactly does WWE have planned for the Judgement Day? On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that the plan being floated around backstage is that JD McDonough will replace Priest when the latter exits the group. McDonough was teased a few weeks back as a possible recruit to the group, but Vince McMahon halted the storyline several weeks ago without an explanation. WWE's reported belief is that Priest is ready to break back into being a singles star, hence why McDonough curried favor with the group this week by taking out Sami Zayn. As for when his exit from the Judgement Day will happen, that's unclear at this time, but what do you make of these plans? Let us know down in the comments. Throughout his 7 matches with WWE, Logan Paul has proven himself to be a natural as a superstar, being able to hold his own with the likes of The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. At SummerSlam, the Maverick defeated Ricochet, much to the chagrin of ring announcer Samantha Irvin, but now the WWE superstar is returning to the boxing world. As Paul disclosed on Twitter, he will make his boxing return this October to face Paul Danis in a stacked card that will also feature his Prime Energy partner KSI facing Tommy Fury. Paul hasn't boxed professionally since 2021, when he lasted in an exhibition match against Floyd Money Mayweather, so it remains to be seen how the Maverick fares in his return to boxing. On a recent episode of AEW Collision, CM Punk revealed a new shirt featuring the transgender flag in his logo, which quickly made its way to AEW's official merchandise website. The item in question has proven to be quite the hot seller on the site, but now it appears that AEW may have to pay some royalties to one of their fans. On Twitter, an AEW fan by the name of Emily revealed that she was the one who designed the print back in December, and from what she said, it doesn't appear that AEW gave her a heads up about her design being used. Emily tweeted for AEW's shop to hook a girl up, implying that she wasn't paid for the design or that she just wants a free piece of merchandise that will only be available for 2 weeks. Emily doesn't seem all too mad over what's happened, but we hope she is fairly compensated for her efforts, especially with the new Punk shirt being one of the best sellers on AEW's merchandise site at this time. And we're ending today with Ronda Rousey, who lost to Shayna Baszler in the MMA rules match at SummerSlam and didn't appear in any capacity during this week's Raw. It is believed that Rousey has finished with WWE, at least for the time being, which led to plans for the Baszler feud to be hurried, but the former Raw Women's Champion isn't entirely gone just yet. PW Insider has learned that for the time being, Rousey is still listed on WWE's internal roster, so that her name could come up during discussions for creative plans. With that being said, her name is expected to be removed from the roster in time, as Rousey has practically confirmed her exit, posting on social media that she's got no reason to stay with WWE. It's been reported that Rousey is saying farewell for now to WWE, and that she could return to the company if a new deal can be reached. Rousey is said to be leaving WWE on very good terms with The Office, so a return is possible, and for now, the former champion remains a name on the roster.